Welcome back to the Blue and White Player Show. Now officially presented by the Ciocca dealership.
Ciocca Dealership's Blue White Player Show, baby. Thank you to all out there who our main sponsors out there. Ciocca Motors has come in. Ciocca Dealerships has come in and taken over the lead role as our lead sponsor. We also have Kia, Atlas, and the 19th hole here. I don't think we talk about how nice this place is.
No, it's beautiful here.
It's been really freaking good.
It's been a great experience. I'd be remiss. My mom would be pissed if I didn't introduce you. Aeneas Hawkins here, joined by the legendary Keith Coon-Conlon. Can't have
legendary again.
You're always legendary, Keith. I told you that.
Well, you said your mom and legendary in the same statement. What was our review of Goon last week?
You're getting better and better week by week.
Yes.
Yeah, she is absolutely
That's
thrilled.
all that matters, baby.
Yeah, that I'm lucky enough to be here with you every
Miss
Monday
Hawk,
evening.
We love you, baby.
Shout out Mama Hawk.
Can't
man.
wait
We
to
love
meet you, Mama Hawk. You're gonna love the Goon.
Yeah, let's get right into it.
Taking care of your boy here, very well.
He takes great care of me, mother. Anyway, let's talk about some football here.
Sure, Bubba.
Illinois, Penn State. Penn State finds a way to get a gritty dub on the road, opening in the Big Ten. What are the biggest takeaways from Saturday?
Illinois needs to stop turning the ball.
No doubt.
You think they were forced by Penn State? I mean, I do personally feel they weren't bad turnovers by them. They were just plays being made by our guys. I really feel like that.
Yeah, I think it just speaks to the talent that's on that defense. I thought the quarterback did make some decisions that were questionable, but for the most part, like you said, it's just guys going up and making plays. Yep. I want to shout out one of my guys, Daquan Hardy, who kind of gets lost in the mix with all the talent in that cornerback room. Day has played a lot of big football games here, and he stepped up again on Saturday.
Was he the guy that post-game anointing themselves the best corner in the best corner?
No,
tandem?
I think that was Johnny Dixon and Kalen King. They should have included Day in that, though.
Somebody should say, like, hey, we're the best D-back room or corner room.
Yeah, the two guys who didn't have an interception on Saturday are calling themselves the best corners in the country.
The case?
Yeah, I'm sure Daquan has something to say about that.
Right? Like, geez, guys, thanks.
Yeah,
but I mean, it was a great team win, top to bottom. It's again, you're going on the road first time of the year. You got a couple little, snafus and bugaboos to get through as a traveling team. I mean, again, I don't think we're the oldest team in the league. I mean, we have a lot of young guys coming up. I mean, how many guys were on their first road trip going out to Illinois? How do I say this? It's not an easy place to play because it's not monstrous, but they had a good crowd.
Yeah.
They have a great crowd out there, but it's not like playing, okay, well, I guess it's a step above like Purdue, Indiana type of thing, because those are whole places to play because you can't really get jacked up in this game because it's like,
possible.
Today's attendance is 47.
Yeah,
you're like
11 people at the game today. Everybody,
mom and dad are up there. So there's like 14 other people here. But like Illinois, they have a great fan base, and I know I love the way their stadium is set up with that student section right in the end zone. I had nothing but good memories there.
Yeah, no doubt.
As a player and a coach, we went out there a couple of times, and even as a fan, I went out there for that Friday night game. I think young Aeneas may have been on that squad.
That was my freshman year. I was on that squad. I was not on that trip. I was in the Lash building playing Xbox and watching the game.
You could have been on bus with us. We wouldn't remember if you were there or not. So it's all good.
It's all good. I want to get into the offense a little bit. I think that's the one thing that Penn State fans, generally speaking, have a little bit more question asking to do after Saturday. So let's talk about the offense and what you saw. You kind of alluded to the fact that it's tougher to win on the road. Yeah. And to me, it's specifically tougher for an offense going on the road for the first time. What did you see from that unit?
Well, I mean, Illinois hasn't played great yet this year. I mean, they were 1-1 with a real bad loss to Kansas, but they barely got past Toledo, I believe it was, or one of the MAC schools. So that was like a sort of like they don't want to go 1-2, especially lose the first game in the league. You made mention of it last week, what Billum was going to try and do, and he was going to try and come out there and play mutant football on us, and we finally had the talent and the size to match up in the middle with that, and that played well for us. But offensively, I got to say, we struggled a bit on the offensive line. We really did. I think that if Illinois has one good thing on their program right now, it's their D-line.
Yeah.
That's by far their best position. And there are a couple guys in there who are going to be playing on Sundays. And even Olu had a couple bad plays out there, and that was odd to see. I know that, we went to the backups pretty early in the first half to shore some stuff up on the right side with Shelton going in there at right tackle. And I thought he played great. I mean, you're going to have your struggles again. Like our old company line was, well, they still have 85 scholarships too. I mean, you're not playing against Delaware every week. You're going to have guys who make plays on you, and the Illinois guys did, but we overcame them. rushing attack was sort of scary to me to begin. I mean, we weren't getting anywhere. But what I do want to say this is that you watched the game. You were in Denver, and I was in Nashville. The team was in Champaign, and everybody else is in State College. So, Klatt, the announcer, is mentioning it, and he goes, "Yeah, there was 8 in the box," and that's what I've told you before. It's like your running attack is going to be so good. They're going to say, "Drew Aller, you have to beat us with the pass."
Yep.
Because you're not going to run on us. And what I did not like is that not one time did we force the ball down the middle of the field.
Right.
We didn't pressure the middle of the field to give that one safety. When I say there's 8 in the box, there's 8 in the box, and there's a corner, a safety, and a corner.
Yep.
So you send a tight end down the middle of the screen.
Take shots.
You know what I mean? At least let them be aware of it.
Yeah, and
we didn't do that until later.
And I wondered why they were waiting to do that for so long. Obviously, Mike Yurcich he understands offense better than either one of us does, and we weren't taking any of those shots down the field. And that is, to me, the biggest positive of this Penn State offense when you look at them on paper. You better stack the box if you want a chance to stop the run with the 2 running backs that you have there, and then Trey Potts also getting in the mix now.
Is he a quarterback now?
He does it all. Trey Potts. He comes on our show.
This is the first pass he ever threw in a game. That's awesome.
I mean, he comes on our show, and then the next week he throws a touchdown pass. I don't think it's a coincidence.
I think Zane and Malik are both getting all kinds of fired up over there.
I think so. I need Zane Durant to have a 3-sack day on Saturday. I already told him. Anyways, 3 of them at a minimum. Anyways, one thing that you kind of mentioned before with Drew Shelton getting the mix up front that I thought was a positive on the defensive side of the ball was some of the depth that you saw on the D-line. I was really excited to see Zariah Fisher go get his first real sack in meaningful minutes, especially after some of the journey that he's had career-wise. You see some of that depth, and to me, you got to have it when you're playing that Big Ten schedule. Iowa's coming into State College soon.
You're going to need them eventually.
You better have them. So to see that, especially a guy like Drew Shelton, who has been forced to kind of take a back seat while Caden Wallace finishes up his Penn State career, but still able to get in the mix and do his job at a high level, to me, those are encouraging signs of how the locker room is working.
Could not agree with you more on that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got guys who are willing to go out there and do whatever it takes to win for this team. And that's great.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely amazing. But go back to the 8-man box and the football team with the offense. There is no bigger compliment. Like I will always bring up my 94 team, obviously, but it was always like a passing game and the running game. You had to pick how did you want to get slaughtered this week?
Yep.
Did you want it slow or did you want it like real quick?
Real quick.
You want to just pull a Band-Aid off or how do you want it? I mean, and they were just like, you're not going to run the ball on us. And then Drew Aller is a sophomore quarterback on his 3rd start. Brett Bielema said, "You beat us.
Yep. Pick your poison.
You beat us. You have to beat us. You're not going to run the football on us." And then he does start throwing passes. Look what it does. It opens the running game up, and then they run it down their throats.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree that when they say Drew Aller, go beat us, as a Penn State fan, as a letterman, you feel pretty comfortable with the odds that Penn State has in those situations.
Quite comfortable with that.
Yeah, very comfortable. I want to look ahead briefly before we wrap this segment up and bring up Zane and Malik. We got Iowa coming into town. Obviously, the biggest test of the year to this point. I won't bring up harsh memories, but my last trip to Iowa was not a pleasant one. And as a guy who's out the program, I can comfortably say revenge is what I'm looking for. What do you look to see on Saturday?
You're speaking the same language as me right now because I was a fan watching that game. First of all, I want that guy who was doing in the crowd.
Yeah, I want him front and center. Yeah,
I want him to come up and just like come to my tailgate and say, "How you doing? I'm Joe Schmo," and just get the absolute pummeled. You know what I mean? Say, how's your shoulder now? It's like rip his shoulder out of the socket.
Right. You thought your shoulder hurt last year.
What do you think? You going to try now? So I love the rivalry. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I know we're going to break here real quick, but the Iowa rivalry is, I think, that the best rivalry we've had in the Big Ten in the last 20 years because, having been in our 30 years in the Big Ten, they have tried to force this Michigan State rivalry on us, and it's just not happening. Never did happen, never will happen. Whereas I think that the Iowa game, they beat us when we were number 1 in the country. We played in the cold game out there. We beat them with Nick Sorley punting the football, who they still talk about that. They beat us when we were 1 in the country in the rain up here.
Yep.
And then you throw in the wrestling thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there is an honest to God that's a great rivalry. And I hope it's a healthy rivalry because I have many friends from Iowa, and will speak highly of every one of them.
That's very sweet of you. You're a very sweet guy for that.
Well, you called me petty last week, and now I'm sweet. So I'm actually better. I'm feeling better about myself.
You're making slow progress. We'll be right back with the Blue and White Players Show, bringing all live Penn State football players.
Ciocca Toyota of Williamsport invites you to stop in today or check us out online. We have the smart path to your next Toyota, like the all-new Crown, BZ4X, the all-new Grand Highlander, Corolla Cross Hybrids, Sequoias, and more. Over 100 new Toyotas here and on the way. Don't make a $1,000 mistake. Choose Ciocca Toyota of Williamsport and see the Ciocca dealership's difference. Buy or reserve yours today and see for yourself why Ciocca Toyota is the only stop you need for your next new car. Ciocca Toyota, it just feels right.
Like, I love seeing kids nowadays loving their dad. Like, Dad, what's Dad? We want to go play, Dad? Let's go ride bikes, Dad! Dad! Yeah, when I was a kid, I was like, Dad, run! Open a window! Mom, what did you see in that?
From his Netflix specials and F is for Family, Bill Burr, live, October 4th, Bryce Jordan Center. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Bill Burr, live.
Mercy Me is coming to State College. The Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and special guest Andrew Ripp. October 7th at Bryce Jordan Center. The Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and Andrew Ripp. For tickets and more info, visit mercyme.org.
Old Dominion. No Bad Vibes Tour. Friday, December 1st. Bryce Jordan Center. With special guest Chase Rice and Kylie Morgan. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Old Dominion, live in concert. Brought to you by Messina Touring Group.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
Welcome back to the Blue White Players Show. I am joined by a guy that's very near and dear to my heart, Zane Durant. Zane, how are we doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. Blessed to be here.
Zane, I remember way back in 2021 when you took your official visit, fresh out of Florida.
Whoa. It's a family show now, right?
No.
Making sure. Okay.
No, it was a very
making sure.
It was
I don't know if we knew the rules here.
It was a PG official visit. We didn't end up actually doing anything at all. I don't know if that harpered your decision to come to Penn State at all, but yeah, did that in 2021. We go way back. How's the season been treating you so far? You've gotten massive since your freshman year. Take me through some of that offseason. What year two's been like for you?
Yeah, year two's been a blessing. I've been working hard this offseason, getting my weight up, trying to establish myself in the run game a little bit more. That's been my main focus this year. But yeah, it's been good. The first couple games have been going good. Growing a lot, learning a lot on the defensive side of the ball.
What's your average plays? How many a game?
A game? I think it's just around 30-something.
That's great. I mean, that you stay fresh. I mean, people don't understand.
Yeah.
Coming out from an offensive lineman, if you're going against the defensive lineman, you can wear that guy down throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the worst guy to play, and if you listen to my radio show, I say it all the time, the worst guy to play against the guy who's going 110 miles an hour every play.
Yep.
You're only out there 30 plays, and you get 3 plays, and you got to go out.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go all out for those 3 plays.
Yep.
No doubt in my mind. And that drives offensive linemen crazy.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to kind of talk about on that note is with the rotation in the D tackle room that you have with Hakeem Beam and Devon, JJ Vandenberg getting involved. What has the dynamic been like there? Obviously, you're a younger guy than Zane and Hakeem specifically. So what have they meant to your development?
They mean a lot. Every day we compete. We push each other every day. Like everything's up for grabs every day. So whenever I'm with those guys, I just push myself to the best of my ability to try to show them that I'm better than them or just not as good as they are.
Gotta love competition, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, you mentioned your recruiting trip up here. I mean, what do you mean it was a PG affair?
We
What's
didn't do
going on
anything.
here?
That's
What are
what
you
I mean.
doing here?
I mean, we had dinner. I met Zane's lovely parents. Shout out the Durant family. We went back home. I think we literally watched some highlight tapes. It was me, PJ, Zane. I think Drew may have been one
Hold
of
on,
the.
I got one question. Did PJ pull his high school?
Of course.
Oh my God!
Of course.
He pulled his high school tape out.
PJ thinks he is the greatest high school tape known to mankind. I think we watched Zane's
Dude, every
tape.
team has that guy.
Nah, for sure. PJ was that
And they're
guy.
like, you're like, where were you last night? I was over at PJ's house. Did you watch the tape?
Yeah.
He made me watch the tape.
Yeah, definitely watch PJ's
That is
tape.
hilarious, man.
It definitely is. Let's look ahead to Iowa.
Ooh.
You know what time it is up front when you play Iowa. I remember when we played, we would always meet as a unit, talk about the physicality that it would take to beat them. They run a lot of stretch still to this day. They ran a lot of stretch back then. As a defensive lineman, when you get stretched, you understand that the game is really in your hands. You got to find ways to shut that down. What does it take for your D-line to go in there and shut them down?
We just got to be ourselves. We are the physical, fast, and violent. So if we do our assignment, stay. Don't get bored doing the simple things. The whole game, man, I don't see them beating us.
How has Dion been able to keep you guys motivated throughout the season?
Just competition. So every day we push each other. So he keeps us. That really keeps us motivated throughout every week. Even if we play a not as good team or even a greater team, that just keep us going every week.
So is it the same Iowa offensive line that's been there for like the last 40 years? Or just changed them? They changed the numbers, but it's the same 5 guys.
It's the same guys.
Literally,
too.
it's like they're all 6'6", 310, athletic, running the stretch play. You got to watch your knees because they're going to clip you from behind. You know, they still doing that?
Oh,
did they stop a lot of that, or what? You
They
tell me?
they still do it. They can't high low as much. They'll actually call that now. Back when you
high-low
played,
was
you guys
definitely-
could do anything.
Yeah, that was some crazy stuff there. But as long as they're at least monitoring that, I never run them in. That was some crazy stuff they were doing back in the day. But I mean, they got it done, and they're coming here. Again, like I was talking off the air a little bit about the Iowa rivalry, how much we have picked up a rival. There's not much love there. I mean, honestly, but there's a respect there. I respect Iowa. I like Iowa. I like people from Iowa. I respect them. I respect their football program forever. But that's a pretty heated damn game that we've played in the last 20 years or 30 years against them.
It's heated every time.
Yeah.
And there's a standard. I remember Coach Pry, who you didn't get the chance to play with, but every time we get to that Friday walkthrough before the game, Coach Pry would get real serious. He'd remind everybody exactly what it meant when Iowa came to town or we went to go see them.
Well, that was I think the Pry was at Western PA, and so is Ferencz.
Yep.
That might go back a little.
Yeah, that might go back to the playground back in the day.
Absolutely. Somebody got beat up by somebody.
No doubt. No doubt. Zane, obviously the whiteout is as special of an atmosphere as you have in college football. Being a kid from Florida, made his way up to Penn State to come play in that whiteout. What does it mean to you to get that opportunity?
Yeah, it's a blessing. Just being able to play in front of all these fans. I just got to keep bringing it back to God because not a lot of people get this opportunity. So I'm humble and I'm just ready to put on the show.
We're talking about Florida now. It's a pretty long road to get up there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You said whiteout. Did you see the whiteout on television? Say I want to play in that. I asked you off the air who recruited you and stuff like that, but something had to click in you. Like, oh, this is the place for me. It's not. I mean, I'm saying. I mean, we had guys from North Carolina, South Carolina, a couple Florida guys, but I've always wondered, like, what did you find or see here that drew you to come here?
Yeah, I actually took a visit. The whiteout against Auburn. I think it was 2021. Yeah, that's the game I came up. And yeah, I seen that game, and then it was basically wraps from there.
That's kind of crazy that you just gave your recruiting story and didn't give me any credit. I'm pretty sure you were about to go to Miami before we went to that dinner, if I remember correctly.
Definitely.
Okay.
It was PG, though.
Okay, it was PG. Zane's a wholesome kid, man.
You're just lying to yourself, baby.
Let's talk
Mama Hawk's listening. That's why we're talking about PG stuff.
PG, Mama Hawk. Come on. That defense has been special all year round. 4 turnovers on Saturday. To me, when I watch that, I think it's a result of not only the corners and the linebackers doing well in coverage, but you guys finding ways to get home and be disruptive. What has been the key to you guys being so disruptive this season?
I'll say it's the whole defense. So everybody doing their job just allows everybody's job to be a little bit easier. So the DBs locking up in the back, it gives us a little bit more time to get to the quarterback. And us getting to the quarterback, a lot of DBs to get interceptions and PPUs.
Everybody does their job. It's trickle down, man.
Yep.
Cover well. D-line was going to get them eventually. Or the D-line gets there, and the corner may have been a little slow on the take, and the D-line got them. So they all play off each other. So love the way this defense is playing. Absolutely love it. You guys, all right, I'm a crudgy old man. There's no doubt about it. But I love one thing. I could tell a team when I watch a football game there's a quarterback sack. How many guys go hug that guy?
Yeah.
And you guys are seriously, you guys do it, and you guys are celebrating together. Some teams, there's guys out there who get a sack, they do their whole little dance, and there's not one person around them. I said, that's not a team.
Yeah.
There's no way that's a team right there. And I love the way you guys are playing offensively and especially defensively, because it's going to come down to it this week. I mean, they're going to slow the game down. I'm not telling you anything you don't know or not what they're not telling you, but they are going to slow that game down and try and methodically just beat you guys down. You guys just play hard and play strong the whole game with the way you guys have. You'll be fine.
Yep.
This offseason, you put a bunch of weight on. We talked about that briefly. You and Good were on the same training program. Chuck Losey is a guy, the head strength coach of Penn State football, that I have sworn by since day one. One of my favorite coaches I ever had. What is the relationship with Coach Losey been like, and how did it allow you to get to where you are today?
Yeah, I'll say the whole coaching staff. Coach Losey, my guy, he pushed me hard. We take the weight room very serious here at Penn State and the running aspect of it. So like we don't want to be out physical than against any opponent that we face. So yeah, like Coach T, the defensive line's personal strip coach, like our position coach, he put a lot of time me. I hang out with him almost every day because we lift a lot.
Coach T might be stronger than anybody on that D line right now. I've never seen a strength coach done playing football that still deadlifts 600 pounds for no reason. But there's Coach T still.
Yeah, he got to do that. He has to do it.
It's a little crazy how those guys do, isn't it?
Yeah,
what are you training for over there?
Yeah,
we had John Thomas here as our strength coach. God bless him, loving to death. He's like my father. That's what it is. I mean, your strength coach is your. You'd say your D line coach or your D coordinator, your head coach, but it's not true. You spend 90% of your time in the off season with the strength staff. I mean, the coaches aren't allowed to see you guys that much. I mean, you guys' rules have changed a little bit. You guys have meetings and stuff like that, and some more dinners. But when we were back when, even up to the 2000s and the mid 2000s, there was, football practice. There was no practice in the winter. It was like you lifted 4 days a week, and that was the only people you saw in the building were those guys because the coaches were out recruiting.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely one thing that you don't realize when you're getting recruited to play college football is that the strength coach relationship is probably more important than any other relationship that you have in the building.
Absolutely. Definitely. Who maybe you and Dion might. I mean, if I had a coach to go to, it would have been the strength coach.
Yep.
You're talking about personal stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to my O-line coach and saying, that's my girlfriend. Or, my mom and dad are hurting financially type of thing. But, you don't bring that to Joe or to the O-line coach.
Right.
You're just sitting there. Then he knows, though.
Right.
Yeah.
He's saying, what's going on? And I know something's wrong with you. Like, what's going on? School okay? Classes okay? What's going on? And you're going to be like, all right, And he can bring you aside. He's going to, one, beat your butt in the weight room. And then two, he's going to hug you afterwards, man.
Yeah,
that's a great strength coach.
Yeah.
Zane, the offensive line to me is better than it's been at Penn State since maybe Keith Conlon was playing football. They've got a tremendous talented unit. You compete against them every single day.
You just said who's Keith Conlon?
Yeah, I did.
What have you seen from that unit? Obviously, we talked about competition, iron sharpening iron in the D line room. But with guys like Sal Wormley, JB Nelson, what have you seen from them?
I've seen them grow a lot throughout this fall camp. I mean, we push each other every day. We both been growing. The D line and the offensive line been growing the whole fall camp, battling each day, going back and forth. So ultimately, we just got each other better.
JB's making some blocks out there. I mean, him and center, Schwartz had something on Twitter the other couple weeks ago. Watching that first play of the game, when they darted the nose tackle, they ran a linebacker. He gets off of that guy and picks up another guy. He can't teach that stuff.
And JB Nelson is a big kid moving like
really
that.
Can't teach that kind of hustle and that kind of he understands the game, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some guys don't understand the game. They figure they could do this or that, and I did my job. But it's like, if you understand the game, it's a little different when you're running around out there.
Yeah. One thing I want to ask you about, Zane, to kind of shift gears a little bit. A lot of our listeners obviously know about NIL, but it's hard on the outside looking in to really get an understanding of what NIL is doing for players and their families. There are plenty of articles talking about the money away from the financial aspect of what you've been able to benefit in NIL. What other cool opportunities have you had, from community events to camps to helping family out? What have you been able to do with NIL?
Yeah, NIL has helped me out a lot. Happy Valley United has helped me a lot. Just being from Florida, some of my family haven't been able to get to some of my games, so just help me in that financial aspect. Get my sisters. I got 3 sisters, get them to games. My mom and dad to some games, and then I recently, this past summer, I hosted a camp, free camp for the kids, giving back to my community at Lake Nona, just like a little drive, signing, hanging out with kids, spending time with them.
And that got all sponsored up by the NIL.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That is really good, dude. And that's the best thing about it is to be able to give back like that. And that your 4 sisters ain't going to beat you up.
Yeah, nah, they can't beat me up.
I mean,
I got sisters, man. They can beat me up. Trust me. You ain't allowed to touch one of your sisters.
Yeah.
Don't you kid me. Exactly. I know the rules.
Yeah,
they can do whatever they want, but you lay a hand on them, Dad.
Mr. Durant, I could tell by his traps too. He's got a little power to him still. I don't know if Zane's ready for that light yet, man. No, but that's cool though. I mean, yeah,
it's awesome.
You just got to Penn State. It probably feels like yesterday that you were one of those kids going to the youth football camps and wanted to be a star. What was that experience like, getting to be around those kids who looked up to you so much?
I was just building a connection with them. Like growing up, I didn't really have no idol. I looked up to my dad and my sisters because they all played sports growing up. So having me being that role model for some kids kind of felt good, being on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, no, for sure.
We got a minute, Booch? I got a great story. It's story time, of course. So I'm up here with Mark. I'm out with Marco Rivera, my old college roommate. Right?
Okay.
He's up here this coming weekend, a little promo for the radio show. But he played the NFL for 12 years, 6-time All-Pro, great player, this and that. Puerto Rican.
Mm-hmm.
Goes down to Puerto Rico. He's from Brooklyn, New York. He holds a camp down in Puerto Rico every year. This is back when he was playing. So this is about 10, 15 years ago. So he has these camps for like 5 or 6 straight years. And he was at a benefit with his wife. And none other than J-Lo comes up to him in front of A-Rod. And she says, "You're Marco Rivera?"
Oh, wow.
And he goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "My nephews love you. You're their hero. You had a camp. They went to your camp every summer." And he goes, he looked in the background, and A-Rod was like, he was all flexing up on him and this and that. And Marco's looking at his wife going, "Hit on me right here."
That's crazy.
So, but that's the kind of inspiration we're giving those kids. Is they're going to look up to you and say, you know what, 10 years from now, they're going to be playing hopefully up here somewhere in Penn State, and they're down there holding the camp for themselves and say, this is why I do that.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, man.
So,
Great
appreciate
stuff.
that. Yeah.
Awesome, man. I'm glad you're doing it.
Yeah.
The great Zane Durant. Appreciate you joining us today, man. Best of luck with the rest of the season. Stay tuned. The Blue White Player Show will be right back with another special guest.
Ciocca Toyota of Williamsport had a record August. For that, we say thank you. September will be even better. We have more Toyotas than ever before. 158 here and on the way. Check this out. A brand new Corolla LE, MSRP $23,413. You pay $21,988. We have rates as low as 2.99% on select Tacomas. You name them, we got them. 4Runners, Camrys, Highlanders, Grand Highlanders, Tundras, and more. Check us out online at CioccaToyotaofWilliamsport.com. Ciocca Toyota. Tell them Johnny sent you.
Mercy Me is coming to State College. The Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and special guest Andrew Ripp. October 7th at Bryce Jordan Center. The Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and Andrew Ripp. For tickets and more info, visit mercyme.org.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
Welcome back to the Ciocca Dealership Blue White Player Show. I am joined by Malik McClain, who is having a great year already. Malik, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling great. Feeling good.
The offense has been quick on all cylinders. Drew Aller obviously is getting all kinds of national media attention. You've been able to get in the mix and establish yourself in the receiver room after transferring. Talk to us a little bit about that transition from Florida State to here.
It's been a smooth transition just because, it's a college football program and, it's football at the end of the day. So it wasn't that hard as if I was just a high schooler coming, and made a good transition, schoolwork and everything.
So we had Zane on here from Orlando. You're from Daphne, Alabama, by way of the IMG Academy, playing in Central Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
How did that happen recruiting-wise? Good for you. God bless. I love it. Love having you. Trust me. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just trying to figure out how did that happen.
A lot of stuff. I ain't gonna lie to you. So I really had Penn State in my top 3 coming out of high school.
Okay,
So
there was a history with
yeah. So I knew them way back when before I even committed to Florida State. So it was I guess a at-home pick for me. I'm already knew of it, everybody up here and everything, so it wasn't that hard.
You did know people up here?
Yeah.
How's that?
Oh, it was great.
So how, like through camps and like bowl game, like?
Yeah. So when I went to IMG,
the IMG guy.
Were you there with Noah Kane by any chance?
No, he was before me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Between McDonough and IMG, I mean, do we have any other schools that produce players for us?
Not really, man. We don't have any other IMG guys right now, do we?
Katron.
Oh, Katron is an IMG guy. Yeah. I mean, you don't need much else other than IMG and McDonough to put a college football team together.
Yeah.
You don't need much else.
Some credit.
No doubt. How has Coach Hagan's been during the transition? He's a new coach. It's not a guy that I got to spend time with, but any receiver I talk to has positive things to say about him. What is it that has defined him as a coach for you guys?
Coach Hagan, he's a great guy, great coach. And I feel like those two things, they combat each other because you can be a great coach, but not a great guy. You can be a great guy, but not a great coach. And I feel like he's both best of both worlds in that aspect. And he's been teaching me a lot, not even just on the football field, just being confident as a man and, believing in myself.
Dude, I believe you're the 5th guy we've had on our 3rd show, and everybody has nothing but nice things to say about our coaching staff.
Yeah.
Great that makes me feel, and I'm sure it makes all the Cougar Club for sure is happy about that. But just the people here in general, people listening, just hearing the relationship that they have with you guys and you have with them is great. That's awesome. It's like something you're going to remember 30, 40 years from now when you're my age.
Right.
That's cool, though. That's really cool. That's great.
It's not like that everywhere. It's something that you can take for granted unless you know better. To have a staff that cares about its players, not just on the field, is not always the standard in college football in 2023.
No, it really isn't. I mean, it's crazy because we were talking. I was with some guys this weekend, and it was just how easy it is to okay, you're not making it, you're gone. And I often wonder how the old man would have been with guys who knew him, because there was guys that they came on campus, and you're like, you're never going to play here, but he swallowed his pride and had to keep him on scholarship. Now, would he have pushed them out the way because it's so much easier to drop guys now and just say, hey, listen, you're not going to play here, so
take our scholarship back.
I don't think he would personally. I don't think he would have been like that, but I think it would have been another way. I mean, I often think about that, how the old man would have handled the NIL stuff and the transfer portal stuff. So I asked Trey last week about the transfer portal. What made you get into it? I mean, it wasn't an issue. I mean, you don't have to answer if there's an issue with Florida State or whatever. You just needed a change of scenery, playing time, whatever. You had a good feel here. You wanted to come back up here?
Yeah. So the portal for me, it was a personal decision, just for me and my family and, my football career.
Yeah.
So, I just had to make that.
What you got to worry about, bottom line.
Right.
That's ultimately what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
There have been plenty of receivers here, even in recent history, who have gone in the NFL and done well, played well in the college level. KJ Hamler is a guy I played with, Jahan Dotson. We're starting to see how special he is in the NFL. When you look at those guys, you watch what they do in their game, and then you compare it to yourself. Where do you feel like you stack up? What is it as a receiver that you think sets you apart and is going to take you where you want to go?
I think with me, the biggest thing I have is like my size, and I've been gaining weight and I've been getting bigger, so I've been learning how to play with it, more than I have been in the past because I was smaller, So I've just been using my weight as my advantage.
It's good being heavy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been dealing with that for a while, so it's awesome. That's why it makes the game a little easier, doesn't it?
Quick shout.
You don't last as long, but
quick shout out to Leanne Loudon too. By the way, I'm sure she's played an integral role. Leanne is our nutritionist at Penn State football. Makes the best shakes on this side of the Mississippi River, and she'll
weight on.
Oh man, it's gracious. She'll take care
weight
of you.
off.
They have the lean version. I don't know.
Full of protein. No, the way I work out, it would just be.
Oh, it's hilarious. This is the problem. Goon gets me off on side quests in the middle of the segment, as you can tell.
So this week, have you watched any Penn State Iowa games in the past? Because there's a little bit of bad blood. I'd say a lot of bad blood. I hate Ohio State. I hate Michigan. Everybody does that. That doesn't matter where you're from. But Iowa is like one of those sneaky teams that I love and respect because the people I know from there, but I don't really. They're really making me mad on the football field. You know what I mean? Because some of those clashes that we've had in the past.
Yeah, so they've been telling me about it, because I wasn't here, so they was like,
it's nasty.
Yeah,
it's a nasty rivalry. There's no doubt.
They've been telling me it's like, buckle up your helmet, put on your boots. It's going to be that type of game. So
okay, well, we talked about it. Coach knows the story. So I played there in 93 and 95. In 95, we went out there, and I had a severed pig's head thrown on me. All right. You can look it up online. There's a whole article about it. I went out there. I was the snapper. I went out there with the kickers, and I'm like, what the hell is that? On the field. Yeah, on the field, because the students just got into the section, and they had smoked a pig out in the parking lot, and they cut its head off, and they threw it on the field, and we're all just sitting there.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's pig's head, man. What the hell's going on? These guys being some business around here. Jeez. We beat them by 30, so it was all good.
There you go.
Now, there's been some heated rivalries, some big games with those guys, and looking forward to that. They're not going to come in here and be looking around, whiteout, my God. No, they're ready. They're going to become ready to play. Brent's is a tough guy. They're going to try and out tough you and this and that because they're going to tell those guys that Penn State guys aren't tough and this and that, and then they're going to go out the field and you guys got to smack them around a little bit and tell them how tough you are. I'm here all week if you need a coach.
I was about to say,
he's like a motivational speaker over here.
You need to get Goon in the team meeting room speaking to everybody.
Before pregame. Yeah, before tailgate.
Okay, before the tailgate.
So like 6:30 in the morning, we'll be all right. You can bring me out there.
The receiver room. We've seen Keandre pop off this year. We knew Trey Wallace was another guy to look out for before the season started. I'm sure you saw they had all these questions about wide receiver 3, and we've seen guys like you, Liam Clifford, Cephas is another guy. All kinds of guys step up and be productive. And it's not easy in 2023, especially at the receiver position. Everybody wants the football, but it's noticeable that the unit plays together, both in the run and the pass game. Where does that standard come from?
That comes from Coach Higgins. Him holding us accountable and us holding each other accountable. That's a big thing in our locker room. So us making plays for each other, not just for ourselves, goes a long way.
Yeah, it's not commonplace today with the transfer portal, like we talked about in the NIL era, where guys are, the truth of the matter, looking out for themselves more than what they used to have a unit that's able to do this. That speaks to Coach Higgins for sure. When we look at the offense as a unit, obviously play a gritty game against Illinois. You go right into what could be another gritty game with Iowa. They do all kinds of things to make it physical and ugly whenever they can. What's the mentality you carry into a battle like that?
Well, for us, we know that everybody's going to give us their best game. So that only makes us give them our best game. So that's what we have to take into our mindset. Like, we flying, bullets flying. We got to just go. We can't stop, think, just play fast, play physical.
First whiteout for you?
First one.
Playing. Didn't come on a visit here or anything?
Nah, it was COVID, so I really wanted to, but I couldn't. Yeah.
My first whiteout game was Ohio State 2018. I'd been to Super Bowls growing up. My dad played in the NFL, AFC Champion, all these big games I've been to. I thought I had seen an electric football stadium, and I came out to play. It wasn't even playing that day, by the way. Just out there in the environment, immediately like teary-eyed. Like I've never seen anything like it before. It's going to be a lot of fun for you that first time. Definitely be a lot of fun for you. When you look forward to the rest of the season, still establishing yourself in that room, carving out a bigger and bigger role week by week. What are some of the goals that you set individually for your own success?
Well, I've been setting like more daily goals, not so much of seasonal stuff. Week by week, I just been telling myself to get better on it's not stat wise, like knee drive, getting out of
the little things, yeah,
little stuff.
So let's talk about that because people don't have that perspective, and Keith, you know it too. Once you get to a certain point where you're at a Penn State or you're at a Florida State, the baseline level of talent is apparent. And once you want to continue to get better at that point, it's little things like knee drive and getting in and out of break. It's the small little details that you're talking about.
Right.
So isn't it pretty crazy how the best players in a team are the hardest workers? Imagine how that happens. I mean, I wonder. It's just weird. Parallels,
Right.
Because I'll say that Jeff Hardings and O.J. McDuffie, two guys that I played with in my career, were just unbelievable workers. Like that was like they worked their craft all the time. It was like crazy what they were doing. Bobby Ingram was the same way in my class, but wide receiver was a whole different ball game. I used to kid around with those wide receivers all the time about wearing gloves, and they're always complaining about their shoes. And I'm like, why do you need like 18 pair of shoes? And he's like, bro, you break a finger, you can still play. He's like, I got a blister on my foot. I ain't playing.
It hurts,
I'm like,
yeah.
Damn. and then not just playing, it was just like that takes that tick off you.
Yep.
Yeah. It's that one tense. It might be a little bit slower coming out of your break in your hands, and it just makes all the difference in the world. And Bobby's telling me this, and I'm like, whatever, dude. But I'm like walking away. I'm like, damn, it's true.
He's very right.
Wide receivers, so
it's hard as a lineman not to look at wide receivers and corners and think that they're maybe not
play their own
playing
game.
as tough in the game. They're playing basketball all day. They talk about how hard the game is. Sometimes it's just I don't believe it all the time. How many pairs of gloves typically run through in a year?
In a year?
Let's just say a season, a 12 season. How many pairs of gloves you play?
Probably like 5.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not bad. I would think it was way worse.
Like 24.
Yeah, like a new pair of gloves every day.
This is my first quarter pair, my first quarter right, my second quarter left. I thought we were going down that way.
That's exactly what I thought we were going
That's all right. That's all good. Major-wise, after the NFL, because that's the ultimate dream. We know that. What are you looking to get into? What would be ideally, where would Malik like to be 15 years from now? Post-NFL.
After the NFL.
After the NFL. Of course, that's the goal. That's where we're all going there. I'm still waiting for my shot.
Yeah. They're supposed to call me back this week.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I blew my first shot. Damn. Still waiting for that second one.
15 years from now, I'll be 35. So I want to be somewhere with my feet kicked up.
You don't want to do anything after the NFL. You want to chill. Okay.
On the line of Quiznos or something.
That's great.
No doubt, man.
So major-wise, what do we –
I'm telecommunications. Yeah.
There's so much money in that business. We say it every week to all these guys.
Look at how much money me and Keith
have.
Oh,
my goodness.
No, we're just playing.
That's not our slogan. That's our bank account right there.
That's our combined net worth right here. Awesome, though. I love the honesty you saying after football you want to be able to keep your feet up and own a Quiznos because I think most guys are thinking that, but they won't say it on camera. So I respect it. I certainly respect it.
Me and Aeneas were talking about my brother off the air. He has a 20-year-old son. And he goes, you just hear these kids talk. All they're talking about is, well, I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 25 and a billionaire by 50. And all the rest, I was like, what the hell are you doing? What are you going to do to get there? And it's just like, they don't know yet. They're going to figure it out. It's like, okay, well, you got 5 more years to figure it out.
Better get moving quick.
It's crazy.
Better get moving quick. I want to ask you real quick, it's another thing people don't really have any hindsight into is the grind of the week and what that looks like and getting into that routine of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, really going hard preparing for a game. Even today, it's an off day. I'm sure you probably already watched film. You had treatment. You probably lifted, all the things that go into a week and that grind that kind of takes place in preparation. How do you work through that mentally throughout an entire year? Because those are long days, like you said.
Yeah. So I feel like those are through the week stuff is the most important things before game day. Game day is just like fun. That's right. Fun. That's easy. That's an easy day, to be honest. That is the off day.
Yep.
Through the week, you got a treatment, you still got class and stuff. So you just got to be intentional with your time and having plan and a schedule, just for everything.
That's one similarity. Now, you played for Coach Paterno, Keith, so maybe you can talk about it. But one thing Franklin does, and I'm sure you know, you look at teamworks or our schedules down to the minute every day. Also, I mean, 2:27, you better be here, or it's going to be a problem. Did you feel like when you came out of high school that was a difficult transition as a young guy?
Oh yeah, it was definitely. High school we just had practice after school, and you free after that. You have nothing else. Here you got before practice meetings, after practice meetings. You got to be somewhere for nutrition. You got nutrition. I just want to go eat somewhere. You got to be here at this certain time.
Be here.
This meal.
Crisscross applesauce. Getting bossed around, man. That's what people don't see.
Right.
They don't see that side of it.
There's also a downside to that, though.
What's that?
I mean, that's you got to go out and meet people and go hang out at the cafeteria.
No doubt.
Go hang out at the hub. You guys, do you have that now? I mean, it's more of a secular type of. We're at our home base and there's morning practice, afternoon practice, and then dinner and nutrition. It's crazy. It's like you asked about Joe, and the old man was like, he had a blue line. Literally, it was a blue line on our practice field. I don't know if you guys still have it or not. You walk out of the locker room, there's a big blue. And Joe says, you better be running. Yeah. You cross it, you're mine. I don't want to hear about your classes, your girlfriend, your mom, or your daddy, or your ticket situation. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
You're mine from there. But when you cross that line, he wants you to be a regular student first.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even the idea of crossing that line and just playing football.
Yeah, that's saying clear your mind. Now, it wasn't a mean thing.
That's not
saying I don't want to hear that crap. He was just saying, hey, time to play football. Get that stuff out of your mind.
Yeah, you can speak to your own experience. But for me, now that I'm done playing, that's one thing I do miss about it is once you're on that field at practice, you're not thinking about your girlfriend who doesn't want you. You're not thinking about classes. It's a chance to escape from the realities of what some of that can be.
That's exactly. Like, I mean, even last week I had an exam, and I was, stressing about it all day. But then I went to practice. Right. I didn't flip about that exam. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Right.
I didn't think about it. I really didn't even study for it, but I prayed on it, so we all good.
Yeah, I prayed on it. It's above me now.
How'd we do?
Oh, I did good.
You did good. He looked down.
He was a little shy about that.
He prayed on it, though. Yeah, he prayed. So if it didn't go well, it's in God's hands.
I wasn't praying for the teacher, though. Just praying for the students. So we are asking guys about, you heard talking about Zane over here, talking about the NIL stuff. I mean, how has it affected you and, people around you?
I think the NIL, for me, it's blessed me personally because, I'm from Alabama, so I mean, my mom, she was stressing, crying on the phone and stuff like that before the season started because she couldn't even find a hotel here, during the season. So, I feel like
find one.
Yeah, she can find one, but
yeah,
right. So she probably get here but not get back type deal.
Yeah.
So, NIL just blessed us through that opportunity just to have my family come up and see a game. They've
been able to come up and check you out.
Yeah, they came to the West Virginia game, and they're gonna be up here this weekend too.
That's awesome. That's what it's all about. I mean, honest to God, like I tell it during the week because I was outside of Philadelphia. My parents, away games that wasn't happening. Maybe my senior year they saved up all their money for 3 or 4 years to go to all those games. But it's not cheap, and the fact that you be able to help out is fantastic. And it means a lot to them. But it also means a lot to the people who are actually helping out too. So, and I know from talking to you guys, it's very appreciated by you guys.
All right. Yep.
It's not just accepted and give me my money, I'm leaving. Yeah, you guys are working for it. Ain't no doubt about it. You're doing stuff. You're doing stuff like this. You're going out and helping people and doing different advertisements and stuff. So it's all working great.
Last thing I want to hit on, Malik, because I didn't know much about you as a player. I knew you had come from Florida State. The West Virginia game, I remember watching. I'm like, oh yeah, he's a real dude. He's having a good night. Talk me through that night and that experience. Obviously, finding a bunch of success, finding the end zone in your first game at Beaver Stadium. What was that like?
It was a lot. There's a lot of emotions going through my head. Just being like you said, first game. So I'm looking around, kind of starstruck. But then I remember I got a football game to play. So then I'm kind of locked in. And then it's. As the game went on, it was the first kickoff, I'll be honest with you. And I ran down, and this guy hit me.
Out there the other day.
Yeah, had a little tackle.
How's that Blue Carter doing out there on kickoff? And I was like, oh, that's him. All right, I got it.
McClay, man.
Yeah. I thought that was great. You're a wide receiver. You're still running down.
Yeah, I was out there.
Whatever it takes to get out there, you're doing it, man. That's awesome. Real quick, Game day atmosphere, Florida State, Penn State.
Penn State for sure.
That's the right answer.
That's
the right
great
answer. You might not have made it out of here if you didn't answer that the right way.
364 days ago, he was on the FSU player show. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Malik, appreciate you joining us. Best of luck the rest of the year, man. My God. We'll be right back with the Penn State Blue White Player Show.
Thanks.
At Ciocca Toyota, we know that the best new cars make the best used cars. We have both Camrys, Corollas, Tacomas, Tundras, Sequoia. Name the Toyota. It's here and many more on the way. Check us out online at CioccaToyotaofWilliamsport.com. Appraisers on site, still offering top dollar for your trade. Special interest rates apply on select models. While other dealers are marking their cars up, we're marking ours down. Stop in today. Ciocca Toyota in Muncie. It just feels right.
Mercy Me is coming to State College. The Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and special guest Andrew Ripp. October 7th at Bryce Jordan Center. The Together Again tour with Mercy Me, Crowder, and Andrew Ripp. For tickets and more info, visit mercyme.org.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
Matt McGloin, quarterback, 2008 through 2012, Scranton, Pennsylvania. Well, to be honest with you, I didn't really have many options. You know, obviously growing up 2 hours from Penn State and, you know, watching them every Saturday, you know, understanding the history, the tradition of, you know, playing at Penn State. It's obviously a school one of the schools you always dreamed about playing for. And, you know, as you know, I wasn't a heavily recruited guy. I didn't have one Division I offer. And then one day Penn State called, you know, and said, Matt, we want you to be preferred walk-on. And I took that opportunity and ran with it. Yeah, I think there's a couple, you know, that certainly stand out. You know, getting my first real game action at Minnesota on the road, you know, unexpected in a way. And being put into a game like that when the guy in front of you gets injured, that's never the way you want to earn your job or the way you want to get playing time. You know, you always want to feel like you're the best guy for the job and you're playing because, you know, you are better than everybody else. You've earned that position, you know, but at the same time, you always prepare like you're the starting quarterback. You're always prepared to play. First start against Michigan, right? That whiteout night game, you know, Joe's 400th win, Joe's 409th win, you know, a lot of great memories stand out. You know, Bill O'Brien's first win at home. Just so lucky and so fortunate, again, to play for two great head coaches, but also to be a part of so many great games and so many memories that'll go on forever in Penn State football history. When I look like Allen Robinson, one of the better players I had the opportunity to play with, and it was one of those things where 2012, nobody knew who Allen was. Because you remember, he had 3 catches the year before as a freshman. But we all knew who he was and what he was capable of doing. And this was a guy that anytime I was thrown on the turf field, he was showing up, right? Would always get reps before practice, reps after practice. I think in a way he knew what he was capable of doing as well. But yeah, 2012 Allen, was such a huge part of our offense. Evan Royster is one of the better running backs I've ever been around because of his consistency and the ability to do it every single day and every single week. And he was just one of those guys. The moment was never too big for him. He was always calm. It was just like he just expected, greatness, I guess. Like that's me saying that. Like he was the most down to earth guy you can be around, but it was just kind of like you knew this guy was going to do his job and do it well week in and week out. It's almost unfair in a way to sit here and, say this guy was better than this guy was great, that guy was great, because I was just around so many great players and guys that embraced their roles and not just accepted those roles. And I think in a way that made those guys great, Penn State football players and what you look for in a Penn State football player. My first, I think I might have told this story before on my podcast. I'm not sure. One of my first ever games at Penn State, preferred walk-on guy, buried on the depth chart, 5th, 6th, 7th on the depth chart, whatever. Maybe they threw me this clipboard and just busy work. I'm assuming, hey, Matt, just write down the plays. Let us know, keep chart all the plays. And at the time you're thinking to yourself yeah, absolutely. This is awesome. This is a good little gig right here. I'm going to learn these plays. I'm really going to take pride, in what I'm doing. Now that I look back, that's what I'm like. I'm like, they just were trying to get me to stay busy or make me feel good about myself. I'm walking, I'm charting plays, walking up and down. I notice, I look and Joe's shoes untied. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, somebody's got to see this, right? And now I'm watching him. He's walking up and down. I'm like, how does nobody see that this guy's shoes untied? Now I'm thinking to myself, he's going to trip, he's going to fall. This is a nationally televised game. This isn't going to be good. So finally, I'm pretty sure Joe didn't even know who I was at the time, right? In my first year there, he called me the kid from the coal region for a while, and then he called me Mac, towards the end of my career. But I just went up. I'm like, hey, coach, and he looked at me. I'm like, your shoes untied, just like that. And he was like, I can't reach down to tie it. And I was like, all right, well, coach, do you want me to tie it for you? I can tie it for you. And he was like, all right, yeah. So I went down, and now I'm tying his shoe. And as I'm tying his shoe, I'm thinking to myself, this is a nationally televised game here. I'm on the sideline. I'm tying Joe Paterno's shoe here. And I don't think anybody ever saw it.
That's unbelievable stuff from McGowan right there. I hear that every time I hear it, I laugh because it brings back some memories. And remember, we were true freshmen here. I'm not going to say whose dad was on the team, but he may have been a year away. So in '91, my first Penn State game at home, we beat Cincinnati 81.
Oh, no, yeah.
Me, Kijana, Jeff, and Marco, we're all sitting there. We're all taped up. We're like, going in, first college game on video. You guys aren't playing. Man. We've got a red shirt, you guys. And we're like, then what the hell are we dressed for?
Why are we here?
I was like, why am I in here? I'm all taped up. I got gloves on, and I'm sitting there for 4 hours.
Waiting on your turn.
Yeah, right? So I do want to thank Atlas Therapy for our Letterman segment right there. Atlas, Lion Country Kia. The 19th hole was fantastic here, and our new show sponsor, Ciocca Dealerships. Thank you guys all for the sponsorship, people showing up here. We just absolutely love it. So we got a minute here, Bubba. This is a huge game. I don't think people are they're just sitting there saying, oh, it's the whiteout and this and that. This is so big for them, but I hope we're ready for this.
I think they will be. There's enough guys in that Penn State locker room who were on that trip in 2021. I won't get too far off into the weeds, but one of my PJ Mustipher tears his ACL.
That's
in that
unbelievable.
Game.
I want to find that guy. I'm telling you, I'm going to find him.
Listen, you're booing guys who are getting hurt. You know, you want to act. We put our backup quarterback in the game. Unfortunately, didn't play well. You bully him. You bully his girlfriend after how he plays. It's a personal game. I know Coach Franklin doesn't get into personal battles, and he won't say it publicly. But I know how those young guys on the team are feeling about it. So I definitely hope they're ready.
Dude, I can't wait. I want that guy. I want that guy to show up here. I'll give him a real injury.
I don't think he's tough enough to show up.
He wouldn't show up. So probably a wrestling fan too, and he's already crybaby about that too. So.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Going to be a great atmosphere yet again. I haven't looked at the weather as of yet because I just got back to town. 73, sunny, nice.
Just like
What's
that.
tailgate weather like? Come on. That's the most important thing. So we're at 70s all day. So we'll push through. You know, we got a couple tents out there now.
We'll figure it out, and I'll be right there by your side.
We'll push through. But
No doubt about
man.
it. Appreciate
Fantastic
you, brother.
time.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. The audience that's here tonight, thank you guys for coming again. Stay tuned next week. We'll be back with more special guests on the Ciocca Dealership Boo by Player Show.